You and I met when we were 18 and we started 29. We started our first business when we were 29 years old. I always knew I was going to start a business.
So I think then my DNA, your DNA was like you had a family of entrepreneurs. My DNA was never give up, because that's the only time. That's the only time. The only time you'll fail is if you give up.
I mean, Kevin and Gillian, this is their life's work. And we both went, ah.
Yeah.
And we're rolling.
Definitely are rolling. We're rolling into another episode of the 29ers Unscripted. This one's probably more personal, and the kind of topic here is the hardest part of running a family business. So that's the kind of subject and questions we're going to cover. So I've got a few questions lined up, and we'll both just interact with it because we are part of this family business. So, but what's been the hardest part of running the business as a family, and not the LinkedIn answer?
Okay. I'd like to turn that back on you because I'm really curious what you would think.
All right, you're asking me the question. I think running a family business it almost separates from a business, because you never leave the business, you never leave the office. The office is always with you. So like, although you say you can't leave the office physically, we leave the office, but so you can leave the office, but you can't leave the family. So the business never really switches off. You're constantly thinking about the business. We've got better over the years, and we'll maybe go into that, of finding ways to kind of like not switch off, but maybe park it slightly. So I think it's just that always on mentality. I think that is the hardest part for me. And Caitlin and I used to talk and joke. We all love Christmas. And we used to say like Christmas was our favourite holiday because it's the only time that everyone switches off. So even though if we try and go away for, say, a week's break, you're never really switched off because everyone else is still on. So you're still getting emails, you're still getting messages, you're still taking phone calls all through your holiday. But in Christmas, especially just Christmas Day, everyone switches off. So you almost get that quiet. And that's nice sometimes, just to get that quiet. So I appreciate Christmas for many more reasons. So I think that's just, for me, the hardest part is you can leave the office, but you can't leave family. It's always there. So the mentality of having a family business is always on. And I think that applies for, obviously, initially the four of us. Even Lynn's on holiday and she's constantly contacting us, like, what's going on, what's happening. She's doing things. We always are doing something. But it's also because we love it.
Yeah. So then that really means it's not really hard because we love it. And then what's the hardest part of running a family business? For me, I actually struggled with that question. And I'll tell you the reason why I struggle with it. I can't imagine not being in a family business. So when I think of that context, it's not hard. It's a privilege. And a privilege is not hard.
Yeah. But I think it's like there's two separate things. It's like being an entrepreneur, running a business, and then we've got the second stage that intertwines is family. Because a lot of people are entrepreneurs, but they're solo entrepreneurs as a family. They're not part of a family. So I think that's the difference. We've got husband and wife, our daughter, our best friend Lynn, who's been with us 26 years as knowing her, and then obviously started this in 2009. So it's the four of us that almost run this family business. But
then also think of it that a family business generally, historically, in history and time gone by, two founders will start it. Family member, second generation will come in. It'll go to third generation. It'll go to fourth generation. And we've been very lucky that we started it together as the founders. Our daughter, our only daughter, second generation, is in the business. And she loves it as much as we do. But then there could be a third generation in the future, or maybe the business becomes something different in the future. We don't know. But what I'm saying is we've been very, very fortunate. My parents were in business. They had a family business, and I've seen good and bad of a family business. But we've also been really lucky that growing up, and in the duration of having 29 studios, we've worked with other large, massive, well-renowned, well-respected family businesses. I started my career in Spears and Jeffrey. That was a 4 or 5 generation family business. We worked with McTaggart and Mickle, the home builders. 5-generation family business. Both of them have went on to be sold, to be exited, and it's to now see what the 5th generation then go off and do.
But I don't think
what Myra does.
Whether it goes through generations, the entrepreneurship will never leave. It's just you generate something else as a business.
Yeah.
But do you think we had back then, do you think we had any real idea what we were signing up for when
Absolutely
we started this? Because, if you go back in time, we were young.
We're 19, 18 when
we probably
start.
didn't know what we were signing up for. What was your thoughts on those early days when we started thinking, let's go for this, let's become our own business?
I think you and I met when we were 18 and we started 29. We started our first business when we were 29 years old. I always knew I was going to start a business, and I think not having a business was never on my plan, other than at the point where I wanted to join the Navy, be an astronaut. For us to have started this business together, again, that was such an amazing experience. And to be able to sit together, we were just together, we were in our first decade, and we thought, let's do it. Why not? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, but I think we also came from, I think for me, it's like I probably didn't know, because my family weren't entrepreneurs. They were hard workers. They never gave up. And I think that's part of, I didn't know what I was signing up for, but I knew once I start something, I never give up. No matter what that is, whether it's sport or just design, I have to keep going until it's complete. And that's the challenge, I think, with being in business. It's never complete. There's always something to achieve. There's always the next thing to aim for. So I think then my DNA, your DNA was like you had a family of entrepreneurs. My DNA was never give up, because that's the only time. That's the only time. The only time you'll fail is if you give up. So my mentality is that I'll kind of backtrack on that slightly. Not give up. You can change direction. You can pivot. So there's a huge difference between being an entrepreneur of giving up on something. We like to try things all the time. We're very curious, and I think that's part of an entrepreneur. But I think I genuinely didn't know what we were signing up for. But once we signed up for it, not literally, I knew we would never give up. And that's, as you said, we started when we were 29. We're 58 this year. We've never gave up. But there's been so many ups and downs, but we've never gave up, and we never will.
But do you think then, to make the comparison, if you and I both worked for other organisations, you had your job, I had my job, I think you would be just as committed to another job on that never give up, being able to achieve something, to be able to build your career, be able to carve your wee dent in your universe and my wee dent in my universe. But the difference of working with another company and then having your own business, especially your own business when it's a family business, the family element for me adds a layer of security and comfort and familiarity.
Yeah, I think that's where we combine perfectly. Like, I agree that if I hadn't met you and it was someone else, I would have probably been on. I worked in a corporate job. I got to the highest point I possibly could in that job. And I then found myself after 12 years thinking I need a change, because I love change. I love things to change. And whether we talk about that later or not, but how things are changing now. So I've always been that change agent for me as design. So I've just found new ways within that framework of probably working for someone. You made me become that entrepreneur. I could never go back now.
Don't you think entrepreneurs are born?
No, I don't think they're born.
That's interesting.
I think in some cases, yeah, like you were born into the entrepreneur family.
So
I wasn't. So I wasn't born entrepreneur. You can learn and develop, and then you bring the skills with you. So like the skills you've brought is learning probably from your family, learning the ups and downs that you probably experienced and not realising at the time through your mum and dad. But you brought that skill into like our business. Yeah. And then the skill I've brought in is that never give up, keep going, like just that endless
But then that's
pursuit.
the sport in you.
Yeah, that's sport in me. So I think that then became entrepreneurship. So I think, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur now, but I wasn't thinking entrepreneurship when I was younger. You have to then find the right connection.
Yeah, whereas I've always knew I was going to run businesses.
So we found each other as a connection and put those two skills together. So, so like where does the business, kind of staying on track, where does the business end and the family begin? Or is there a line?
Yeah, I think there is. I think the business does end when it's end of week, end of day. Like anyone else, you leave, you say goodbye to your work colleagues and you go home. We do that. We leave the office, and if we've had any conflict during the day or there's been something that we disagree on, we leave, we get in the car, we talk about dinner, we go home.
Yeah,
we dwell on it, we talk about it, but there is a separation.
But we also sometimes will get in the car and go, right, we'll talk about this until we get to the front door. So we're in the car and we're talking about it, and then all of a sudden there's sometimes, it depends on the level of conversation. Obviously there can be more serious things we need to talk about or smaller things. And I think, the line is the front door.
Yeah.
But sometimes it kind of just gets over that threshold.
But where I think that it blurs too much is if I'm on a project that I am going down the rabbit hole on, and when I go down the rabbit hole on a project, I love it. And you have to pull me out, because I would literally work all day in here.
Well, you do.
And then I would go home and I'd finish dinner, laptop would be open, and I could easily stay on my laptop to 3 in the morning.
Maybe that is the separation. Like I think
It's
you
a
just said
project.
it. It's what you're thinking of or working
What
on.
you're doing.
If we've got a problem, whether that's any type of problem as an entrepreneur or a business owner, we try and contain it into, say, the drive home, and then we'll say, let's sleep on it. And I think most people will do that, sleep on it, because it will feel different tomorrow. But if we're going home and we're talking about AI and we're excited, and we're like, even the other night, I tend to watch a lot, like tons of YouTube videos about innovation, AI and things like that. So for every 100 videos I might watch, I'll show you 1 or 2, because I'll filter them. So I filtered this one, and we got home the other night, and we had a packed day. And in my head, I've got a video Jill needs to see. She needs to see, but it's like now 8 o'clock. It's a 2-hour video. So I wonder if she'll want to watch it. And I was like, I've got a video. It's about AI and technology and how it's going to progress. And you're like, yeah, let's watch it. So for 2 hours till like 12:30, 1 o'clock, we were watching a video all about AI and the future. When I say the future, the next 12, 18, 24 months. So we were up to like 1:30 watching a video. So that still worked for us. So I suppose it depends on that.
It's the topic.
On what you're talking about. If it's excitement and adrenaline, nothing will stop us. That front door won't stop us. But I think we need to try and stop at the front door when we think, right, this is a challenge. Let's leave this challenge till tomorrow and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I think also, and you'll say more about this, I think over the last few years, our number one focus is to try and drive more in the team and systems within the business, because obviously as you start up as an entrepreneur in a business, everything relies on the founders.
And it's founder-owned, founder-driven,
over the last 2 or 3 years,
founder-driven.
you've spent a lot of time just making sure that we build the right team, but just as important, that we build the right systems behind that, so we can scale the business.
It used to be that I had my role, you had your role, and then we wrapped everyone else in roles that we couldn't do or that we didn't want to do. And right now, we've now both primed ourselves into a position that we work on the business rather than in the business. And all the training that we did when we went out to Miami, corporate development training, being able to work and have the mindset of our corporate clients, being able to operate the business on much larger cycles, young entrepreneurs, young businesses tend to be very small cycles, so you have to find business, go and get your clients, turn it around really quickly, and it's quick. But because we now work in a corporate environment with our corporate clients, a life cycle of a project could be 3 years. So you could present an idea, and the idea, they love it, but it's not that year's budget cycle. You revisit it the following year. Still love it, but it's not in the budget cycle. So it could take a much longer time. So we've had to adapt and change our business so that we're not in the business every single day on that really short cycle. We're looking at things and we think about things in quarters, in half years. And that's very unusual for a small business of our size, but that's the way our clients are. So we have to operate and think and act and be like our clients.
Well, I think that goes back to, without going too deep into it, it's the background we have. We worked in large corporates, so we understand the mentality of it and we adapt to it. But we're definitely fixed to be that boutique agency for the corporates.
Absolutely.
Because it allows us to pivot quickly and then to give them the advantage of that pivot. Yeah. So I think that's where like we've really focused on how we address our roles in the business. And I think we became very, very smart at it over the last 2 or 3 years now, especially with the advent of AI, and how, as you say, we work on the business now, more in the innovation and how our business is going to evolve.
Yeah. So even when you say 2 or 3 years, and this actually I realised this about 4 days ago, when you say 2 or 3 years, you kind of flippantly say, oh, over the last couple of years. Yeah. But we're actually talking 7 years.
Yeah.
Over the last 7 years. It was 2019, just before the pandemic hit. That pandemic kind of wiped out a big time.
I think it is. I think you're right,
it wiped out 2-3 years of everyone's timeline.
Yeah.
And right now we're 7 years.
No. Everyone says it just classically as 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it was 2019 when we thought we need to go on this journey.
And we've been on this transformational journey.
The pandemic fast forwarded that journey for us because we had the time to think more deeply, because you weren't in the day-to-day battle of a business. You were battling a different type of business. We were all in a place, all doing the 9 to 5. We were all working remote. It was amazing. And it let me go really deep in technology. Yeah. So do you think what we've just talked about there, and you can see how connected but separated in our skill set, how do you think it's affected us as a couple?
I think it's totally strengthened us. And I think if we hadn't worked together, our marriage would never been as strong as it is now, because although we've got a lot of commonality in our design and our career and technology and our family, your hobbies, my hobbies are
completely different.
You love sport. You absolutely love any kind of sport. Yeah. I hate sport, all kind of sport, except Pilates, my new reformer Pilates. Yeah. But I have never been a sport team player, sport, Olympics, World Cup, the world. You will watch everything that comes on TV.
You must take after my dad then.
You must. But then my opposite, I love everything to do with science and quantum and
So I think the business has helped create obviously deeper connections with us as a couple, because I feel we've always got something to talk about.
Yeah.
And we do spend, although we live and breathe in this office, let's just say generally, we then do go home and talk about business and watch videos and things like that. So we are generally connected 24/7. As we say, we've both got separate hobbies and things. I go to football, you do your things with Pilates. But generally speaking, we're very connected. And I think that connection has got stronger and stronger. And I genuinely think over the last, since the pandemic, it's the strongest it's ever been, because there's so much to get excited about. And that's where we do come together. We have these separations, if we want to call it hobbies, but our business is a hobby.
Our passion.
But our business is like a hobby. So that's why it's difficult to say, leave it at the front door and everything. But when it's something you're passionate about, you should never try and say, let's stop thinking about that. And we've integrated our business and our personal life and our family life to be something we're completely passionate about.
Yeah, because you could be on something at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, let's watch telly, or let's just wind down for the night. And in your head, I can see you going, just give me another half an hour.
I think that's you.
No, that's you.
No, it was you the other night, and it was 12:45, and you went, right, when are you going to be finished? And then whenever you can. And you said, right, 12 o'clock. And it was then 1:45. I was like, Gillian, it's 1:45. We both need to stop.
I know, but I was doing something that I really wanted to do.
I know people listen to this going, that's sad, that's silly. But it's just so exciting. We're genuinely, although we've been in business now 26 years, 28, no, next year will be 29 years. Once it was 1998. Although we've been in business a long time, I think it's never been more exciting right now. There's so much, I feel as if I've got so much energy for our business right now and where we're going to take it over the next few years. Yeah. And rather than having the fear of AI and everything else, we're so excited, because if we're going to use these tools for the good of our customers. So it's so exciting. And that's the saying that you told me once that Stephen Hendry said, if you've got the fear of failing is stronger than the desire to succeed, you will fail. Yeah. But if your desire to succeed is stronger than the fear of failing, you will succeed. That sounds complicated, but I remember it. Yeah. It's okay. So taking it a little bit wider, the responsibility of running a business. It's not just about me and you. And it's not just about a family business. Any responsibility in a leadership role of running a business, it's about, you've got the balance sheet to look after, you've got stakeholders to look after. We're very fortunate that we are the stakeholders, we are the board, but we've also got a workforce, you've got a team. Well, that's hijacking my questions. I know, but you've got a responsibility to the team, because they're committing their time, they're committing their career to want to be part of this. And I think that's the thing that probably weighs the strongest on me, is that I feel that I'm the keeper of making things move. I'm the mum. The oldest. I'm the mum.
Yeah, I'm the mum of the business.
And I think because it is a family business, when you do bring on people, you want them to feel part of it.
And you want them to succeed.
And then when you feel that they're part of it, you suddenly have this huge responsibility of, because we know how impactful it has. Like I have for you and you have for me, and then we've got Caitlin, and then we've got Lynn, and then we've got Stacey, and we've got all these people and Jose, and the impact and everything we do, and obviously what they do now, because we're empowering them more. Every decision we make can have an impact on our livelihoods. Yeah. So it is a responsibility, but you need to, I think if you take on the role that we are, or a business owner, you have to embrace that opportunity, that responsibility.
But you also have to be fair. And I think that by empowering the team to make decisions and empowering the team to stand up, but push them. Yeah. But push them for their own benefit so that they grow. Yeah. Because if the team grow, then the company grows. This isn't just about me and you. This is about a brand. It's about a company. We've got a leadership team. We've got a team who all genuinely care about their careers. They care about the business. They care about the journey that we're on for our customers.
And I think if you look back over the years, through the iterations of different types of businesses, there was probably less bigger calls to make as leaders and owners of a business, because things didn't change as quickly. So you had time to adapt it into your business and change. And change was a gradual thing that you didn't quite notice over a year or two. I think there's a lot more decisions we're having to make as leaders that can impact the business quicker than ever. So I think I'd probably say more recently, the last 6 or 7 years, that feels, that weight of responsibility is heavier, not in a bad way, but it's heavier because we're making more and more decisions quicker. Mm-hmm. But I can't remember the exact phrase, but it was Elon Musk. It was like, if you've got 5 things in your business that you do and you can get rid of 3, get rid of them. And if one of them you thought, God, I actually needed that, you just put it back. Like, we can reverse back.
Yeah, don't be scared to make decisions like that.
So I think, I think it does weigh on you. I think you must feel that sense of responsibility.
But don't you think that even comparing that to like one of our corporate clients who look after big teams, they have to do that. They have to have that responsibility.
Not the same. I think it's different.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish the question. It's not the same personal impact, but it still is a moral and ethical impact for some people. So if
I'm not talking about our clients, I'm just talking generally speaking. Large organisations, it is about profit.
Every business is about profit. Every business, it's a business because it's about making money. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a social enterprise.
But you can have a conscience.
But and not everyone has a conscience that is ethical, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is that there is lots of people, and we're very fortunate that we work with incredible people, really nice people that I consider friends. And they're ethical, they're strong, they're leaders in their field, and they run big payrolls, they run big departments. And when they get told by their wider stakeholders, we need a reduction in force, we need to make a redundancy round, we need to pay off 60 people, 100 people, 5,000 people, that weight on that person's shoulders that has to make that decision and actually execute on that, I would never want to be in that position.
I think if we're talking about our local group of customers, I totally agree. I'm probably watching other things that I can see a lot of big businesses who just don't care about their staff and their team. And I think that's where it's reversing back to try and be part of a smaller group, and a smaller group of being like a smaller business, because I think
industries is like that.
I think you get then more recognition. I think you feel part of something. Is what we've tried to build since when we first started in 1998, and then obviously 29 Studios in 2009. We've always tried to strive for that, because as you go back to saying me in sport was always about team. I played golf a few times, but generally speaking, any sport I played was a team sport. So I've pulled that through into business, that I want my business to be a team, not individuals. So I think there's a whole conversation on, I think, what's about to change and what is changing because of the impact of AI and how ethical and responsible and the consciousness of leaders and the decisions they're making. Yeah. And in our little world of 29, I think we've got those traits of we care. And I think we care deeply about our team.
Sometimes it's been to our detriment, and sometimes we've cared too much about certain people, and then they've left. Yeah. And when people leave the company, I take that really personal.
Yeah.
I really do, because I feel I try really hard to make everyone have the same equal opportunity
No one that's
to succeed.
no one that's left this company in the past will ever understand how much we actually cared.
No, they won't.
They won't. So
They won't.
we'll leave that one there.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So when we disagree, sometimes we feel we're disagreeing, and then we get to the point going, we're actually agreeing on the same thing. But when we do disagree, how do we make the call? Who wins?
Well, it depends on what the subject is. And if it's something that's an executive creative decision, then I'll back off. And if it's something
I
that's...
don't know if you back off. I think we both always have opinions.
Yeah, we'll have opinions, but at the end of the day, if we both completely disagree on something that's about to get shipped to a client, and you fundamentally disagree with me, I have to respect that you're the creative lead. So I'll back down and let you do that.
I think probably...
I'll argue my case,
yeah,
but I'll back down.
I think probably in retrospect, the simplest answer then, or most probably diplomatic one, is no one wins, and the business needs to win.
Yeah.
And I think probably deep down that's what we go through. We go through that cycle of we agree, disagree, and then we try and figure it out. And then I think then it's not a case of did you win or I win. It's like we eventually come to the conclusion what's the best for the business.
What's the best for the business.
And also
the
we come to that
client.
sometimes a lot faster and sooner. But sometimes it's just natural. We go through our process because we are husband and wife we know each other so deeply that you know what winds me up, I know what winds you up. And you can't help yourself but maybe trigger those points, which then creates like a sense of argument. But then suddenly we back off and go, we're both agreeing here. and I think it's the moment we say, we're both agreeing here is when we realise we're agreeing because what's important is what the business needs, not what Jillian needs or what Kevin needs. So I think it's probably
and for the good of the project.
So I think we do go through that, but not that often because you say we've got kind of separate roles within the business as well. So other than kind of question is like obviously family, direct family, it's me, you and Caitlin. Lynn is as close as it can be to family, but can you hold family account to the way you would hold anyone else account? So employees, we talked about ones that came and went, or you have to have a difficult conversation because you realise someone's done something wrong, whether it's me or you or Caitlin or Lynn. Is it different to say like, I need to go speak to Lynn, or Lynn needs to come and speak to me and tell me this, or vice versa, or you and me or me and Caitlin? Is that more difficult?
Yep.
And can you do it? Can you actually do it with the same approach as you would with employees?
No, it's harder. It's harder because there's a line that gets crossed that it can be taken emotionally. Emotion gets attached when it's family. When it's not family, you can make it emotionless.
I think also because we are an emotional family.
Yeah.
There's other families who you go, they don't have, every family has a level of emotion, but I think we're quite an emotional family. So I agree with you, the word emotion.
Emotion.
And we've had to have some of those conversations.
Yeah, and there is difficult times where I disagree with something that you've made a decision on, and I have to think, I need to tell. Well, I need to find the right time and the right way, but I need to tell them.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we just find we know each other well enough that we think we know when the time's right to have that conversation.
Yeah, you wouldn't do
when
it in a team meeting, for instance.
No, you wouldn't do anything like that in a team meeting. But I mean, I think we do treat equally. And even though there's a few times I've been in meetings, like large meetings in America, we've all been in a big boardroom. Even one recently, Caitlin was leading the meeting, and it was only after it or the next day some of the people didn't realise that Caitlin was our daughter, because it's not something we flag. Obviously, it's disguised a bit more because Caitlin's got a married name now, but and then when we do tell them, they then connect and go, oh, that's why you're like your mum, that's why you're like your dad and things. But so it's not something that we position every time.
Yeah, but Caitlin also, when she'd first, maybe in the first 5-6 years of being in the company, she hated it when we were getting to meetings and I'd be like, proud mum, this is my daughter. She would hate it because she felt that people would think she's only in the role because she's my daughter. Yeah. Whereas she's not. She is way better than me. She's way better than you. And the skills that she's got, that is not a parent talking.
I'm competitive, I don't know.
That is not a parent talking, but Caitlin's skills in this business are way, way higher than us combined.
Yeah. And I think to diffuse any of that, or if you need to have those conversations, or we're getting a bit tense and I know I need to speak to you, or vice versa, or Lynn, or Caitlin, or again the reverse, sometimes, and what's the one thing I say, when we're a bit tense and we're bit like
Let's
frustrated.
just change your environment.
Change the environment.
Let's just diffuse it
It's the
by changing the
number one
environment.
thing. It works every single time. If
Yeah.
we're sitting in the pirate bar and we're arguing the way we argue,
Used to be,
and
let's
it's
go
getting
get a cake and a
tense
coffee.
We just go like, we're lucky to have a business that's in the bang in the middle of the city centre. There's enough distractions. All you need to do is walk outside, walk around for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden that mist clears a little
does.
bit. That business mist.
Change your environment.
So anytime,
Or even take yourself out of a meeting and just go and get a fresh drink.
yeah, whether it's personal or business, I think
Change
just
your
that
environment.
phrase of change your environment,
Yeah,
it fixes so many things. So how has the business changed us as a family, and what would you tell anyone that's about to do the same?
How's it changed us? I think it's kept us really close. I think it's probably hard to imagine us not being in business together. And not saying that yes, you mentioned that we are both 58, and I have reflected a lot on the fact that a lot of our peers in our age group are now on the last 8-10 years to come down and come out of business and start their retirement. I just am not at that place yet, and I'm not saying I won't be at that place maybe in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time, but I think I'll be working the day I die. And
Well, I think that goes back to the starting point of this conversation. You came from that family entrepreneur business that always worked.
I might not always be in this business, but I will always be working till the day I die.
I'm going to take back what I said earlier, just for a little bit of fun. When I said I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs, for the last 20 odd years, maybe I'm getting the years wrong again, but my dad's almost been an entrepreneur.
Your dad?
He goes out and does all his wee jobs.
He does, yeah.
He used to work in obviously businesses, but in a way he's well retired. He's 82, 83.
82. Don't give him years he
I'll
doesn't
correct
need.
that, he's 82. And he still goes out and does his wee handyman jobs.
And he's done that for 15 years since he retired.
So in a way, he's an entrepreneur.
Your Uncle Joe,
Yeah,
he
so
had
it
his
is
own
like
business.
in a not
Cousin
direct line,
Joseph.
but yeah. So there is. So I suppose there's still a form of DNA there of entrepreneurship, but I think it's made us, like we've talked about, it's made us much closer. Might not do the same for everyone else. This was advice then for anyone else, but I think what we've learned more over the last few years, I'll say few, is that we're learning more and more to set some rules and responsibilities.
Yeah.
I think as you start up, you're having to do everything. But as we've talked about, we're trying to work on the business. We're now trying to set some rules and responsibilities for us.
But even starting a business, so even if a single person on their own says, I'm going to start a business, doing whatever, doesn't mean they're starting a family business, they're just starting a business. But they're doing that out of a passion. You don't wake up and think, I'm going to start a business and do X, Y, and Z because it's just another option, it's another career.
Yeah.
You only start a business because you absolutely want to start a business.
Because if you don't, you'll give up.
You will give up, because if you don't absolutely love it, you will give up, and you'll give up at the first break point. But a family business, the difference in the family business is it's not just you on that journey, you're taking people with you. And if you're taking people with you that don't want to be in that family business, that is the hardest part.
I think that's really important, because I think you've made a really good point. If someone's starting up as a solo entrepreneur with the goal of building a business, I think it's probably appropriate to go and try something, and if you don't think that path is the right path, quit and go to another path, because you'll probably be young enough to do that. And the world now provides many opportunities of different types of entrepreneurship. But as soon as you connect another family member with that, it changes the game.
That's a different dynamic.
So I think it's completely different.
And we've got a complexity that there's 3 of us in our family. So when everything's in our earlier years, when we were having peaks and troughs and having high points and having low points, when you're having high points, 3 times the high point. When you're having a low point, 3 times the low point.
Yeah.
So that's when you go on a family business. So if anyone is watching and they're thinking about starting a family business with their spouse or with their children,
they need to be all in.
You need to be all in.
Yeah.
Because you can't just pivot and say, I don't want to do this anymore.
If it was just you that was all in and I was like, I'll come along,
It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't work. But if me, Gillian, on my own said, I'm going to go and start a business doing blockchain strategy or something like that, you're not interested in that. I'm on my own. I'm on my own going doing that. And if I fail miserably at that, then it's my decision. I'm not then responsible for other people.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in a family business, I feel responsible. If I was to decide I don't want to be in this business and work with you guys anymore and leave, I would be feeling I'd be letting you down. But if I worked for ABC Limited Company...
When it's a family business, there's emotion attached. When you're a solo entrepreneur, you're looking after yourself first and only.
But what I'm meaning is if I worked for a big company and I decided, I want a career change, I want to try something different, then I would talk to my people and I would say, I want to leave. My people in the company, and I'd talk to them and say,
my crew.
I want a career change, or I'm going to change businesses. It's weird me talking about working for someone because I've not done that for many years. Yeah. But the difference is, I would not just believe in a business, I believe in the family.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
So last question. Knowing everything we know now, we would do it all again.
Yeah. 100%, and I wouldn't change anything because the lessons that we've learned along the way is what shaped us to be who we are now.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
100%, I wouldn't change it.
I think what you just said straight away, there's no hesitation, no regrets.
None
I
regrets.
wouldn't go back and change and swap because it is the path we're on right now.
Nothing. And I can't wait to see what the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years...
And it's understanding that there's going to be so many more twists and turns.
Yeah.
But what was it Mary Mickle said to you?
That actually hit me like a brick. We were on the stage at the... it was
Family Business
United, and we were presenting, and we came off the stage, and then Mary went on and she was doing her piece and talking about, family business, and she pointed to us. We were sitting in the front row, and she said, Kevin and Gillian, this is their life's work. And we both went, and we looked at each other and thought, so it is.
Yeah.
This is our life's work. Everything we've done since we were 18 when we met to 29 to now, it's been our life's work.
So that's why I would say, we would do it all over again.
Yeah,
because
it's our life's
why
work.
would you go back and change your life's work?
Yeah.
And I think that, as you said, it just kind of we've always considered, before she said that, I was like, no, that was last week's work and last month's work. But everything we're doing is part of our story, part of our journey, part of our life's work.
But then let me add a question in, because I've not put this one in yet. For us to now look at the opportunity that we have in front of us right now, that opportunity, can we achieve the ultimate goal of scaling this business as a family business?
Right.
Or do we need to look wider? Do we need to look at how do we capitalise on this?
The easy answer to that is, if you think about it, you said, can we achieve the ultimate goal? So I was waiting on you thinking, what's she going to say the ultimate goal is? And you said scaling this business.
Yeah.
What did we start this business with?
Me, you and a whiteboard.
Have we scaled it right now?
Yeah.
We've scaled it.
It's you see the mountain and then you want to go up again, then you go up again and up again.
So we've achieved the ultimate goal.
Yeah. But I just keep resetting.
What? There's another goal, and that's just part of the journey. So I think we'll always just add to the life's work. The life's work. When will the life's work stop?
On the final day.
Yeah. So we'll always add to this life's work, no matter what it is. So that was really important for me there when you said the ultimate goal, because that's always it's always this myth. I think if you're a true entrepreneur and you love what you do, there's never an ultimate goal. There's just another goal, not an ultimate goal.
You just add zeros on. I remember David Molesdale and Richard Emmanuel when we were fresh, wet behind the ears entrepreneurs, and the original goal, both of them at different times, not in the same room or same meeting, both of them talked about when you get your first million, and then the goals, I want 10. Then you get your 10 million, and then I want 100. I want 100 million. Yeah. I want to be a billionaire. Yeah. So then when you become a billionaire, what do you want? You want to be a trillionaire.
You want to go to space.
And I want to go to space.
Yeah. So I think
lots of steps to get to that point. That kind of
completes this podcast, because I think we'll do many more like this, because we'll keep this journey going, and we'll keep our life's work going. So I think it was a brilliant statement from Mary that will probably just stay with us for the rest of our life, and we'll continue to add to that life's work.
And she's probably grew up in a family where McTaggart and Mickle, the house building company, was her dad's life's work. I mean, they were here recently, been married, launched our new brand, and Bruce came along, and it was just lovely to see him there.
Yeah, so maybe
supporting
then
Mary on her new venture.
Just to wrap up, is we've achieved our ultimate goal. Let's go and create more goals. They'll never be the ultimate, it'll just be more goals. So I think that's really important, that to be proud of what we're all achieving now as a team. But sometimes just to look back and think, where did we start this from, and what was, if we'd have looked back then and said we'd be sitting here, we'd have went, we've made it, that's it, done, we're done. But we're far from done. I feel we're just starting. So,
But just to let me add in before you wind up, when an industry shifts, and we are in a shift right now, that has changed the rules and it has changed the goals, because the advent of technology, the advent of disruption, the adoption of AI, and the speed and the capability that it's given us, I feel like we're back at the energy, excitement
again. Here's an ad hoc
again.
question then, and we're not going to go into it too deep, right? So we want to really make this short. Let me phrase this properly. Because of everything changing, and we've talked over different podcasts about AI and all that, so we won't go into everything like that, but everyone knows the speed of change right now with AI. Do you think there will ever be another 100-year-old family business? Or a 50-year-old family business with multiple generations? Or are we at the point now that it just becomes a commodity, a business, an idea, a business?
One person can run a
Whereas it
business
took
with
100
agents.
years to build a proper business, or it took 50 years to build
That's
a proper
great
business.
question.
Will there be genuinely, starting today, like us, a real legacy of generations in
That go
one
behind
business?
that.
Like starting today. I don't mean like the newspaper, the mainstream media who have like the Rupert Murdochs. I mean like someone sitting today, will they have that mindset that maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago someone go, I'm going to start this and it's going to last forever and it's going to be five
did
generations.
they think that?
They probably didn't, but it's not whether you think it now. Do you think that will repeat itself, or are we in a whole new generation of different types of businesses?
I think we're in a whole new generation. I think we're about to start a whole new business model. And I think not just in business, I think we're going through a whole new communication model, behaviours, how people are going to live, how they're going to work.
Going to live longer.
We're going to live much, much longer with longevity, with people looking after themselves, with AI stepping in to be able to help in medicine, to be able to detect things quicker.
Right, so
we are going down.
Do you think there will be, if you could, we might be here in 100 years, never know with technology, but do you think in 50 years' time there's going to be as many family generational businesses built from today?
I would like to hope that there is. That's probably an emotional call, because I think that.
And the pure optimist in you.
I'm a pure optimist. I'd like to think that the fabric of business will still have that baseline structure of family business, because there's hundreds, millions of family businesses.
So
America,
how
most
many
businesses
more,
in America are family
it's
businesses.
not a trick question. How many more, apart from the Mickles, give me 3 or 4 other Scottish family businesses?
Well, you
right
think
now?
of all the Scottish brands. Walkers. There's another one. Baxter's.
Walkers?
Walkers, the shortbread company.
Oh, Walkers, I think of crisps.
Yeah, you think crisps, I think
It's not
sweet
crisps,
things.
no.
Yeah, they're a family business.
okay.
Baxter's, they're a family business.
Do you know many husband and wife businesses?
Family business.
Scottish? Off the top of your, I mean, there obviously is, but ones
Yeah, there
that
will
you
be.
recognise like that. I don't know.
No?
Right, we need to finish this.
Yep, we could go on and on.
So, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
As a family business, let's keep providing more for all our team, making the right decisions, and keep adding to our life's work. Thanks.
Thank you.